Hey everyone, this is Bola Shokumbi. I'm the founder and CEO of Clever Girl Finance. I'm also the author of the book Clever Girl Finance, Ditch Debt, Save Money, and Build Real Wealth. Welcome to Clever Girl Finance TV. So today we're going to talk about 10 key questions you need to ask your landlord if you rent before you ever sign a lease or before you sign your next lease. The last thing you want is to be tied into a contractual agreement with a landlord based on things that you are not happy about. And you also want to make sure that you're able to adjust your budget to accommodate any expenses that are listed in your lease. So it's really important that you understand what is in your lease. And so I'm going to go over 10 questions for you to ask your landlord before you sign that lease. This is really, really important. And based on these 10 questions, you want to make sure that your lease answers these questions, or you can ask your landlord directly for the answers to these questions and make sure that they are documented in your lease. So question number 1, when is rent due and is there a grace period? And this is a basic no-brainer question. However, it's really important that you understand and you remember the date that your rent is due, because most landlords are not going to accommodate for when you are going to mail your check or how long it's going to take for your bank to transfer the money. They want their money by the date that it is due on that lease. So you want to make sure you understand that. You also want to be aware of any fees associated if your rent is late. What is it going to cost you if you make a late payment, right? So you want to make sure that that is in your lease and you understand what those costs are, so that if for whatever reason you happen to pay your rent late, your check arrives late, the transfer arrives late, you know how much you're going to owe, right, as a late fee. And you can also even ask your landlord to accommodate a grace period in your lease where he gives you X amount of time if your rent comes in late. That way you don't have to pay a late fee. Question number 2, what are the payment options? So will your landlord accept a check? Will they accept cash, a bank transfer? What is their preferred method of payment? You do not want to send or give your landlord cash knowing that they will not accept it. You don't want to try to send them a Venmo knowing that they're not going to take that as a form of payment for your rent. So you want to really be clear that you understand the payment options. This way you can pay in the way that they expect, right? And you don't send a payment that they don't accept that will cause your rent to be late and in turn cause you to be charged a late fee. Question number 3, how long is the lease and what happens after the lease ends? So basically you want to understand, if your lease ends, what's going to happen? Do you go into a month-to-month agreement? Does the lease automatically renew itself for another 6 months or 12 months? Does your rent increase until you sign a new lease? You want to make sure that there are no surprises when your lease comes to an end if you choose to stay at that rental property. Question number 4, what utilities and routine maintenance is included in your rent? So what is your landlord responsible for paying? Are they going to pay for water, for cable, for electric? That's usually unlikely, electric, but you want to find out what is covered. This way you know how to plan your budget for the utilities you're going to have to pay. And also when it comes to routine maintenance, you want to find out what your landlord is covering and what you're going to need to pay for so that you can accommodate those expenses in your budget. Question number 5, who is responsible for maintenance issues and who should you call? So if your water pipe bursts in the middle of the night, do you call your landlord? Do you fix it yourself and have them reimburse you? What is the phone number? You want to make sure that this emergency information is included in your lease so that you know who to call when these types of things happen. By the way, if you are enjoying this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, tell all your best girlfriends about Clever Girl Finance, and stop by clevergirlfinance.com to check out our over 30+ completely free courses. Okay, let's get back to these questions. Question number 6, will you be charged if you end your lease early? You just want to know, if you have to move out of that apartment for whatever reason, is there going to be a cost associated for breaking your lease, and how much is it going to cost you? You want to know that number so that you can keep it in the back of your mind. Question number 7, are you allowed to sublet your apartment? So let's say you have to leave, right, and you don't want to break your lease. Is subletting an option for you? Because for some landlords who do not agree to subletting, there can be a very hefty fine if they discover that that is what you have done. And you also want to be able to understand that, what happens in between the time before you find somebody to sublet that apartment. Typically, you're responsible for the rent payments until you find that subletter, but you want to make sure that you have this in writing and you understand your landlord's restrictions around subletting your apartment if you need to do that in the future. Question number 8, is your deposit fully refundable? So the last thing you want to do is create this incredible plan based on money you think you're going to get back that you use as a security deposit when your landlord has no plans of giving it back to you because it was clearly written in your lease. So you want to explicitly know the answer to this question. And also, what are the restrictions, right, around getting your money back, your security deposit back, if it is refundable? What state does the apartment need to be left in? So do you need to paint over walls that you painted? Do you need to do certain repairs? You really want to understand the conditions around being able to get your deposit back if it is refundable. Question number 9, can you have roommates? Some landlords are strict about having people living in the home after you've signed the lease. They want to know exactly who's going to be in the home with you. They may even assess fees if they find out other people are living in the home with you without you having told them prior. So you really want to be clear on what the conditions are around having a roommate or having a partner move in with you after you have signed the lease. You also want to find out if there's going to be an extra cost associated in addition to your rent if you were to have a roommate, because some landlords actually do that. And question number 10, are there landlord inspections and how often do they happen? So sometimes a landlord will build into your lease that they have the right to come in and inspect their property to make sure there is no damage. And this is something they may want to do every 60 to 90 days. However, because you live in this space and because of your privacy, you want to understand if this is going to occur and when this is going to occur, and also what notice you're going to be given. So you want to ask your landlord this question around landlord inspections. So as you review your lease, use these 10 questions as a guide. And if there's anything about your lease you are not comfortable with or you do not like, ask your landlord to adjust it if possible or to explain it so that you understand exactly what you're signing. One other thing to consider when you move into a rental is renter's insurance, because typically your landlord's property insurance covers their property but not your own personal property. And renter's insurance is very, very affordable. For many people, it costs $10 to $20 a month to protect your personal assets. So I definitely recommend that if you are moving into a rental unit that you get renter's insurance, because your landlord's insurance is unlikely to cover your own personal property. So do you feel confident about your rental lease? Leave a comment below. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate your time. If you have loved this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and stop by Clever Girl Finance to follow us on Instagram. We are at Clever Girl Finance, and also visit our website at clevergirlfinance.com to check out our 30+ completely free courses and our blog that we update every single day. Thank you guys so much, and I will talk to you soon.